A Tale of Two Friends by Miss Joanna M. Arrival in the Big Apple. Joanna and Claudia were an unlikely pair of travel companions. Joanna, a 30-plus-old, was as sarcastic and judgmental as they came. She despised crowds, was perpetually anxious, and hated walking. Claudia, on the other hand, was a sweet, 24-year-old people-pleaser who adored long walks, museums, and books. Despite their differences, they found themselves on a flight to New York City, ready for an adventure. Despite their differences, even if they came from a Balkan culture, they found themselves on a flight to New York City, ready for an adventure. As they stepped out of JFK Airport, Joanna took a deep breath and groaned. I can already smell the anxiety and overpriced coffee. Welcome to New York. Claudia giggled. Come on, Joanna. It's going to be fun. First stop, Central Park. Central Park chaos. Claudia practically dragged Joanna to Central Park. As they walked, Joanna's irritation grew with every step. I thought you said this park was famous. All I see are joggers and pigeons. What's so special? It's beautiful. Look at the trees, the lake, the happy people. Claudia twirled around, soaking in the atmosphere. Joanna rolled her eyes. Yeah, happy people who clearly don't have to walk everywhere. My feet are killing me. They sat on a bench, and Claudia took out a map. Let's go to the Met next. You'll love the art. Joanna snorted. The only art I appreciate is the art of sitting down. Museum mayhem. Despite her complaints, Joanna found herself inside the Metropolitan Museum of Art. Claudia was in her element, explaining the history behind every painting and artifact they passed. Isn't this fascinating? Claudia asked, pointing to a centuries-old sculpture. Sure, if you're into ancient rocks, Joanna muttered. But honestly, I'd rather be watching Netflix in a cozy bed or creating content for social media platforms like TikTok or Instagram. Claudia ignored her friend's sarcasm and continued exploring. They reached the modern art section, where Joanna finally found something to comment on. This is art. Looks like someone threw paint at a canvas and called it a day. A nearby art enthusiast shot them a disapproving look. Claudia whispered, Joanna, be nice. I'm always nice. People just can't handle the truth, Joanna shot back, loud enough for the disapproving looker to hear. Times Square tension. As evening approached, they made their way to Times Square. Claudia was buzzing with excitement, but Joanna's anxiety was through the roof. Great, more crowds. Just what I needed. Claudia tried to lighten the mood. Look at all the lights, Joanna. It's like a giant, glowing city. Yeah, a giant, glowing nightmare. If one more tourist bumps into me, I'm going to scream, Joanna grumbled. Claudia spotted a street performer and dragged Joanna over. Let's watch. The performer was doing impressive acrobatics, and the crowd was cheering. Joanna watched with a bored expression. I could do that too, if I cared enough. Claudia laughed. Oh really? I'd love to see that. In the crowd near the performer, Joanna and Claudia noticed a familiar face. It was Macaulay Culkin with his friends. Joanna, being more straightforward, asked if they can take a photo. Macaulay recognized Joanna from social media platforms. He asked, wait a minute, aren't you Joanna? I recognize you from social media. Joanna, yes, that's me. Macaulay, you're an entertainer and writer, right? I saw your work. Joanna, that's so nice to hear. May we take a picture? Macaulay agreed. Bookstore bonanza. As they walked away from Times Square, they stumbled upon a quaint little bookstore. Claudia's eyes lit up. Oh, Can we go in? Please. Joanna sighed. Fine, but if I find a single book about mindfulness and manners, I'm burning this place down. Inside, Claudia wandered through the aisles, while Joanna browsed the titles, making snarky comments. Self-help for dummies. More like self-help for suckers. Claudia found a book she liked and was about to pay when the cashier, an older gentleman with a kind smile, commented, "You know, you remind me of a young couple I once met who had a similar dynamic. The girl was always positive, and the guy was, well, let's say, a bit more cynical." Joanna smirked. Sounds like a nightmare for the guy. The cashier chuckled. Maybe, but sometimes opposites balance each other out. The Statue of Liberty. Their final destination was the Statue of Liberty. As they took the ferry, Joanna finally relaxed a bit. At least we're sitting. Claudia nudged her. See? Not so bad, right? Fine, it's decent. But if you tell anyone I said that, I'll deny it, Joanna replied, a small smile playing on her lips. As they stood at the base of the statue, Claudia looked up in awe. Isn't she magnificent? Joanna shrugged. I guess. But I'd rather be back at the hotel, soaking my feet. Claudia laughed. Always the charmer, Joanna. The departure. As their trip came to an end, Joanna admitted, okay, it wasn't all bad. But next time, can we pick a place with less walking and fewer people? Claudia grinned. Deal. How about a quiet beach getaway? Joanna nodded. Now you're talking. But you're still buying the drinks. They both laughed, the bond between them stronger than ever, proving that even the most unlikely pairs can have the most unforgettable adventures.